What is up, YouTube? My name is Eben, and today I've got a very interesting expanded deck for you. I almost kind of built it just for fun, but it did surprisingly well, and it has a lot of good matchups. We'll go ahead and get right to it. It is Vikavolt GX. This guy came out a little while ago, and you might have forgotten what he does, but he's got 240 HP, making him very bulky and hard to one-shot, almost impossible to one-shot for most decks. He's got 1 lightning energy for 50 damage to get any energy card from your discard pile and attach it to him. So that could be like, let's say, a double colorless energy out of your discard pile. And then for 1 lightning and 3 colorless, he does 180 damage but discards 2 energy. So basically the idea is you pay for his second attack's effect by discarding a double colorless energy, which you can then charge beam back or attach from your hand, whatever you need, whatever you got, that kind of thing. And his GX attack is pretty interesting too, especially for expanded, in that it's a lightning and 3 colorless, again, to deal 60 damage to all your opponent's benched Pokemon, period. Which against certain decks like Night March can be very powerful, a great way to sweep through and pick up a lot of prizes. I was messing around with this thing yesterday. I managed to pick up 4 prizes with Gigatron GX at one point, so pretty useful. If you can set up the situation, or if your opponent's deck by its nature kind of sets it up for you, it's a pretty good GX. Though we do have access to another GX in the deck. Now to get this guy, to make sure we can get him going, we are running 3 Charge Bugs as well to support him, which does have a paralyzing attack there, which is, interesting. And then we've got 4 Grubbins just to maximize the odds that we start with it. It's a good starting Pokemon too, which is nice. We also run 1 Tapu Koko, the promo, just basically for its free retreat. But you can also Flying Flip or even theoretically Electro Ball in the deck, but this guy's mainly here as a free retreating kind of pivot of sorts. We also have Jolteon EX. There are a number of decks in Expanded that rely on a lot of basic Pokemon that do some pretty crazy things, so having access to Flash Ray is nice, plus it's another free retreating Pokemon just in case Koko gets prized or something. And speaking of Tapu Koko, we are also running 1 Tapu Koko GX. The main reason is you can see yourself having, like, let's say your Vikavolt, you've just fired off your Super Zap Cannon, and you've got 2 Lightning Energy on you, most likely. And let's say it's got a lot of damage from your opponent attacking it back. You can Tapu Koko, easily pick those energies back onto your Tapu Koko GX, and continue your attack. So that if you Acerola your Vikavolt, it's not such a big deal that you get put behind with all those energies going back to your hand, having to reattach them and all. They go to a new attacker. And your Tapu Thunder GX is a great surprise KO move that your opponent most likely will not see coming, that can do heavy damage. I mean, easy one-shot potential there. And finally, we are also running a couple of Tapu Lele GX just to make sure we can get the right supporter for the right situation, set up nice and early, get Bridget, or whatever the case may be. That's our Pokemon lineup. Pretty solid there, actually. Very consistent, I've found. And we've got 4 Professor Sycamore, just to, once again, best draw supporter. Don't really have to say too very much about it. We're running 3 ends, because you do have some other shuffle and draw kind of things going on, so we're just running the 3 ends. And speaking of such things, we have Colress, because thank goodness it's expanded. We have access to Colress. We should be loading our bench. There's no reason we wouldn't run this amazing card, especially with Zoroark running around everywhere. Lots of people are going to want their benches full. This can easily be drawing you 8, 9, 10 cards. It's a brilliant versus Seeker target as well. We are also running 1 Bridget, just the 1. I'm not a big fan of 2. You could work in a second if you like. I only like the 1. But this is to make sure you've got all those Grubbins early game so your opponent can't snipe them away or something like that. We've got 1 Skyla. This can pick up things like Rare Candy and whatnot. There are lots of targets, as you'll soon see, so it's just a good resource, good versus Seeker target as well. We've also got Acerola, just running the 1, because once again we have access to versus Seeker. And she's great for picking up that Vikavolt, who can take 1, 2, sometimes even 3 hits depending on who you're up against, maybe even more. Seismitoad takes a long time to take your Vikavolt down. Acerola is a great way to deny those prizes, pick them up, use them again, recycle a Lele that has to suck up a hit in the active slot or something like that. And we also run 1 Lysander and 1 Guzma. That way we can versus Seeker for the appropriate one for the situation if we want to switch out our active Pokemon or not. I just like having that option personally. And of course, we like having these 2 of them plus the versus Seekers, because that can put things in the way of our Super Zap Cannon for one-hit KOs, which it's very good at picking up. And finally, we also have 1 Hex Maniac, just to shut off abilities. It's just a really good utility supporter there. And that's the supporter lineup. Got a little sniffle, my bad. And moving into our items, We have 3 rare candies, because like I said, we really want to make sure we get Vikavolt up and going as quickly as we can. So not only do we have the full evolution lines, but we also have the 3 rare candies to try to make sure that happens. We've got 4 Versus Seekers. For all the things that Versus Seeker does, I shouldn't have to elaborate too much on that, I wouldn't think. And we've got 4 Ultra Balls. Make sure you get the right thing at the right time. Pick up Lele's, Vikavolts, so on. We've got 3 copies of Trainer's Mail. Search for any trainer. It's just a really good utility card. Helps make sense of your deck a little bit, so to speak. Really, really good card there. 1 Rescue Stretcher, so that we can pick up, say, a Vikavolt that just got knocked out, or a Lele or whatever, or something you had to discard. It's just a nice utility option. We've also got Super Rod, so that we can stuff lightning energies back in the deck if we need to. But it also just gets, like, let's say, a Grubbin, a Charge Bug, and a Vikavolt all shuffled back into your deck. And, of course, we're also running 2 Field Blower, pretty common utility there. Picks off tools and stadiums, etc. And our A-Spec of choice, I like Scramble Switch, because that can move everything from one Vikavolt to another very easily. Because your item attaches, frequently you don't have a lot of extra ones to set up a backup Vikavolt for yourself, so this can basically turn a damaged Vikavolt into a completely healthy one by switching it for your bench. That can easily be Computer Search or, well, most A-Specs actually that are kind of common usability, Scoop Up Cyclone, etc. There are lots of options. And finally, energy-wise, we've got a pretty simple lineup there. It's just 4 double colorless energies, and then we've got 8 lightnings. And that's all pretty straightforward. It's pretty easy to understand why. That's just what Vikavolt is about. And that is the deck. It is really nice. It does have some problematic matchups, but it has a lot of really solid ones as well. Decks that it has a pretty easy time beating. So depending on your meta for Expanded, it can be a really cool deck for you to try out. So anyway, till next time, like, comment, subscribe, check out my channel for more content like this, and I will see you next time.